All right, so it's November 14th, 2018, and we have the Pikake here in front of us. Today we're going to be transplanting these little Pikake. The other name for it, the more common name for it, would be the jasmine. They have little white flowers, which are really fragrant, and they smell beautiful. So we're gonna be transplanting these guys. It's been a couple months since they've been in this pot here. These were all cuttings that I made. I wasn't really sure if they would grow or not, but I think I made a video on it about 2 months ago on how these cuttings did. So here we are, back at the jasmine, and we're going to transplant them into those pots there. So the pots are fairly the same size as this one here, except I will be moving each plant to its own pot. I'm going to go ahead and water this down, and I'm going to take them out real quickly and transplant them real quickly. So I'm going to quickly make a short video when I have them out so you can see the root system. Actually, I might take the whole thing out of here and just hold the that ball of soil that they're all in so you guys can see how the roots have grown out. Once again, these were grown without any rooting hormones, so you can see they grow pretty easily even without the rooting hormones. This is just Miracle-Gro potting soil. Alright guys, so I've taken it out of the pot there, and I have set it in this tray. So as you can see, the rooting system is well along. It's going to be kind of hairy trying to separate all these cuttings from each other, but I'm just going to go ahead and water this down until all the soil is kind of moved off of the roots, and then I'll start separating them. Go ahead and just kind of massage this soil. Kind of try to get all that soil out of the way there. I'm trying to separate all of them without hurting it too bad, pulling those roots apart too harshly. There we go. I'll try and do this without damaging anything. So as you can see, there's some dead cuttings, but lots of them made it. So I'm gonna go turn the hose on, and I'll be back so that we could spray this down and let everything kind of fall apart without breaking the roots. All right, let's go ahead and water this down. So we'll take this cutting. As you can see here, all the roots are all intertwined and tangled up together, but here's one. Let's try to get the camera focus here. As you can see here, here's one cutting, and that's what the root system looks like right there. So you see them popping out of those nodes at the bottom there. So not too bad. The leaves, the original leaves that I had from the cuttings, are still there, so that's pretty amazing how that works. Those leaves, these cut leaves right here, have been there since I had them as cuttings. So it's been a couple months, and these leaves are still there supporting the plant. So I don't want to keep these too long out of the soil. I don't want these roots exposed, so I'm going to go ahead and plant these. Here's another look at the roots on all these cuttings. So I'm going to go ahead and plant these. Well, all right guys, there we go. I've got the Pikake cuttings separated into their own pots. Some of them are doubled up, as you can see here. because the cutting it's doubled up with. I'm not sure if it's gonna make it or not. Kind of like this one here. This one still looked all right, but it's got no foliage at all. The stem itself, the cutting itself, is still green, surprisingly, but we'll just leave it there and see what happens. If it dies, it dies, but if it makes it, that's great. I don't quite remember how many cuttings we started off with, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential new jasmine plants that'll come up to be the size or bigger than the original one that we made these cuttings off of. So as you can see there, no rooting hormones required. I'm sure you will have greater success with rooting hormones because that's just the way that compound works, but it's not quite necessary. With these plants, I could spray them down with Miracle-Gro maybe 2 months from now, because the Miracle-Gro in the soil will already be enough to suffice in feeding these plants. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep them watered, and they'll do perfectly fine. This will be the update for the next couple of months, because I'm going to let these guys grow out before I do another update on how they're doing, unless requested upon by anyone who watches. So this will be it, and we'll be back in a few months to see how these Pikakes are doing.